Hello and welcome to the Blues Guitar Show. My name is Ben Martin. I will be your host. This is something I've actually been meaning to do for a really long time now, but I figured now with everybody pretty much around the globe stuck indoors, what better time to do it than now? For us here living in Shanghai, China, we've actually been dealing with this for about 8 or 9 weeks already, and I haven't been able to teach my guitar students for 2 or 3 months now. So I'm doing a lot of online teaching for the students that I've already got, but everyone in different time zones means that that's not always easy. So I figured, why not start a podcast and start doing some free online teaching for everybody stuck at home with not a lot to do. So in this first lesson, I thought we'd focus on Travis picking. This is a kind of finger picking pattern that uses the thumb to change between either 2 or 3 strings, made famous by Merle Travis. It's predominantly used in country and bluegrass music, but it actually has really cool applications when we apply the same techniques to blues music. This is especially the case if you're playing acoustic blues or you want to play on your own with that kind of Delta blues, country blues style where you're supporting yourself without other musicians. This is a really, really cool technique to help you guys do that, especially if you're playing and singing. If you head over to my website, you can see in the podcast notes, the description below, you can download a free ebook on progressive Travis picking, which has some cool exercises and techniques that will really help improve your speed and dexterity when it comes to this style. The aim of this lesson is that by the end we're going to be able to play a 12-bar turnaround in the key of E, using some cool kind of tricks to flare it up a little bit to make it sound nice and cool, just using the 1, 4 and 5 chord structure that you guys already probably know. So that's our kind of end game. For the beginning, let's look at just some basic building blocks of the technique that we use in Travis picking. So start with the nice progression from easy, getting more and more complicated. So the first one is just practicing to start off with, just using your thumb to play a chord and then moving just your thumb. So if we make a D chord, for example, with your fretting hand, we're going to play the D open on the 4th string, then play with our 3 fingers, 1st, 2nd and 3rd, play strings 3, 2, 1. So you can just practice doing this for a long time. This is just a really good way to separate that kind of finger dexterity. And then when you get more comfortable, you can move between the open D string and then the open A string. So D, A, D, build up nice speed from there. Once you find that really easy, let's try changing to the A. Play the same 3 strings with your 1st, 2nd and 3rd finger, but now we're going to move the thumb from the A string to the E string. So if you find that really easy, then just start practicing changing between those 2 chords. So start with the A maybe. Change to the E if you want. Just change around chords that you know. Predominantly we tend to look at either usually changing from the root to the 4th. So once you've got those down, changing is not a problem. You can add what I call tie-ins to change between those chords in a kind of smoother way, something you see in a lot of country music. So So an easy one would be that. Bum, bum, bum. So that one there, we would be looking at the 5th string, going C sharp, B, and then A. So that would be 4, 2, 0 on the 5th string. So 4, 2, 0. And then count up. So 0, 2, 4, and that's how you can change to that D. Just go up and down on those. So let's now look at expanding that. Instead of just playing the chords, let's start looking at changing that to a real kind of finger picking pattern. So we're going to start with the D chord there. With your thumb we're going to play the open D string. With your middle finger we're going to play the B string with our finger fretted on the D. And then with our first finger we're going to play the G string with our finger fretted on the A. So. And then we're going to do the same Travis picking technique where we're going to move our thumb from the D to the A. So that's thumb, finger 2, finger 1, and then change thumb, finger 2, finger 1. Let's try that same technique moving with the A chord. So remember, our fingers don't change, it's just our thumb changes. D. We do E. And something I haven't really mentioned, but you might have picked up on already, is that when we're playing the E chord, I'm changing between the E and then going up to the B. So now let's try using that technique, but also adding in the tie-ins that we used before. So the and. Okay, so that would sound like this. Just work around some chords that you know and just see how you can add in those kind of tie-ins, but also stick with that pattern where we're going thumb, finger, finger, and changing our thumb in a nice constant rhythm. So far everything we've looked at has been kind of very country sounding, you know, kind of major scale country sounding stuff. So now if we try and use the technique and apply it to blues music, let's look at a 1-4-5 typical kind of 12-bar blues chord structure. So we're going to use the key of E. So the chords that we're going to use in this structure would be the root, which is the E, and then I'm going to use A7, which if you don't know is the same as an A chord, but just take out that middle finger there. So take your finger off the A, so we're playing the G there on the 3rd string. So A7, so E, A7, B7. Now some people don't know this chord, so the way that I'm playing this chord is if I give you a sort of code from going top to bottom, so starting from the top string down to the bottom string. So we're not playing the E string, and then on the A string I'm playing the B on fret 2. On the D string I'm playing D sharp fret 1. On the G string I'm playing the A on fret 2. Then I'm playing open B string and then the F sharp fret 2 on the E string. So those 3 chords again would be your regular E, A7, and B7. Okay, so now we've got the chords down, we know what we're kind of doing with that. Let's look at just the basis of a Travis picking technique. So the basis will be moving our thumb. We're going to start off moving our thumb just between two strings on the E chord. So if you make an E chord with your fretting hand, and what we're going to do is use your thumb and your third finger on your picking hand. Now your thumb is going to play the top string, and at the same time your third finger is going to play the bottom string, so E and the octave of E. So now you can test that tuning. So E and E. And then your middle finger and your first finger are going to play the B string and then the G string, which we've got fret 1, G sharp. So let's try that. So thumb and third finger together, middle finger, first finger. And I always like to give it a kind of a swing, so bum, 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 bum. Takes a little bit of time to get that speed up, but it's just a really good thing to practice through, just that pattern. When you start feeling comfortable with that, then we're going to add in the kind of Travis picking element where we're now going to change where our thumb is on the second hit. So now we're going to play thumb on the top string, third finger on the bottom together, middle finger, second finger, middle finger, first finger. So bum, bum, bum. Same as before. Then just your thumb. We're going to play the A string. We're going to keep our E chord fretted, so we're going to play the B. So, and then we're just going to end there with our third finger playing the bottom E string again. Okay, so the whole pattern together. Bum, bum, da, dum, dum. You can hear we're getting that. That's the kind of change we want in the thumb. Okay, so we want that nice country rhythm. So start with this really, really nice and slow. I'd start just at this pace and try and keep that pace going with the thumb. Okay, so that is our first chord. The pattern pretty much finished for our first chord. So then for our second chord, for the A7, now we can fret the A7, we're going to play the same pattern, except this time we're going to swap our thumb around. Now this sounds a little bit more difficult, I think, than it is. It's actually a little bit easier, probably, if you can see what I'm doing. But this is audio. So this time we're going to play the fifth string with our thumb, the bottom string with the same third finger. And then we're going to play the middle finger, first finger. And then we're going to play the top string E with our thumb, and then the bottom string. So it's the same as the pattern before, but this time we're changing here. So that first one going up, second one going down. So I'd say practice just changing, moving between those two. Then when you get to 4, change. Change back. Now with our third one, the pattern changes again just a little bit. The patterns with the finger doesn't change, but just with our thumb. So this time we're going to start with our thumb on the 5th string with that B7 fretted, so that would be the second fret on the 5th string, the B. and then the 2nd fret on the bottom string, which is the F sharp. And then, so this time our thumb's going to move between that B and the D sharp, which is the fret 1 on the D string. So our thumb's going to move. Okay, so we have our 3 patterns down for the 1, 4 and the 5 of the turnaround. So now let's try playing just 4 times on each chord. Okay, try playing this with me. I'll do nice and slowly. We're going to do 4 times on the E, 4 times on the A7, 4 times on the B7. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, and change. 3. Back to the E. So you can start to hear how you can kind of build nice patterns and rhythms using just those shapes. Now we're going to change these shapes a little bit to make our chords sound a little bit more interesting. We're going to leave the B7 alone because that's probably the trickiest shape. But we're going to change the A7 and the E. So what we're going to do with the E is we're going to play twice round the E, and then we're going to add on our little finger on the D note, so fret 3 on the B string. So that would be our E major 7. So twice, then on. Now that gives it a really nice bluesy feel. So off, and then on. So just practice through that. So E with it off, and then with it on. With the A7, we're going to do a similar thing with the A7 as we did before. But then this time we're going to add our little finger on the G, which is fret 3 on the bottom string. So without, with. So if we were changing from the E to the E major 7 to the A plus the G, it would sound like this. Change the A. So that already just gives us way more kind of flavour when it comes to this turnaround. We're going to leave the B7 alone. And then we're going to change back to the... And let's try going through one version of the turnaround. So our 12-bar turnaround, we're going to do 4 bars on E, 2 bars on A7, 2 bars on E, 1 on B7, 1 on A7, and then 2 more bars on E. And you can kind of play around with the chord sequence as far as where to add that D and that G in those 2 chords. I like to add them here, so you can just listen and see through to where I put them. So there's a very quick just example of a very kind of shortened 12-bar turnaround, and where you can add those nice little notes in. Now the next thing to do, once you've practiced those and you've found places that you like adding those notes in, is start playing around with kind of turnaround at the end of it. So instead of just ending with the E, a lot of acoustic blues you see ends with a kind of or. So let's just go through one simple version of that turnaround, which is, I think, quite easy to play and sounds quite nice. So this one would be. So we're going to start on the 3rd string, and we're going to slide our 2nd finger from 3 to 4. And then with our 3rd finger, we're going to play fret 4 on the bottom string. Now you can do this on your picking hand, you can do this with your 1st finger in 2nd, or your thumb in your 1st. I don't think it really matters, whatever you feel more comfortable. I kind of do a mix depending on if I'm doing any bass lines with my thumb. So we go slide up to 4, and then 4 on the bottom string, and then 3 on both strings, so 2 on both strings, and then on the 3rd string, G hammer onto G sharp, so 0, 1 hammer on, and then bottom E, open E string, so that would sound something like this in context of our 12-bar. Something like that, where you can add in a more dramatic. Something like that kind of ties the 12-bar together in that way. So let's play through the whole thing, nice and slow. This time we'll do the proper full 12-bar, so full bars. So 1 bar would be twice round. Okay, so that's one bar, because we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so let's try 1, 2, 3, 4. Bar 3. Bar 4. Bar 2 here. Okay, change to B7. A7, back to E. So that would be a full example of our turnarounds, included with our 12-bar on the 1, 4 and 5, using that nice Travis picking technique. Now hopefully you guys found that lesson useful, and hopefully this format is kind of something that works. Let me know, just give me a comment on the podcast or go over to my website. If you go over to my website, there is a free ebook on Travis picking. There's also a free ebook on fingerstyle guitar playing. The fingerstyle guitar playing ebook is more of a practice guide, daily practice routines. The Travis picking book is predominantly the same kind of practice routines, things you can do to improve your finger dexterity, etc. Also, if you go over to my website, you can sign up as a member or book online lessons with me if you want to do face-to-face online lessons. If you're already one of my students, you can just shoot me a message if you've already prepaid for lessons. If you're not, you can buy a membership, which gets you probably more lessons and more value for money, really. Or you can just pay singular lessons, whatever you guys want to do. Throughout this period, it's a really good time to focus on your guitar practice. It's a really good time to support musicians trying to make a living throughout this time where everyone's had their shows and stuff cancelled. So please do support everybody that's doing online lessons and trying to create content to keep everybody out there as sane as possible. So, like I said, head over to www.benmartin-music.com. Have a browse through the site, listen to the music, check out the music production. And like I said, let me know if this podcast works, if there's anything you would particularly like me to teach about, if there's any... I don't know what the rules are in terms of me teaching songs. I don't really know how that works, if I'm allowed to, copyright-wise, but techniques or, playing and singing or strumming techniques or more electric guitar stuff, I'm pretty much able to do any of it, so just let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you next time.